I still think I want to take a marine diesel class because I don't know anything about diesel whatsoever, and learn how to work on that motor.
So back to the boat for some recoring, guys. We're on our way. What do you think there, Robin? Robin didn't know she was on candid camera. So I thought we'd talk about where we are with the project.
I don't know, it's been a few weeks since I've been on.
Yeah, Robin hasn't been back here for a few weeks, guys. So where do you think we are with the project? Like as far as getting to the end?
Oh, the recoring is at least probably close to 70%.
It'd be nice to get that finished because it's kind of hard coming back and doing the same thing day after day after day after day.
It's been, what, a year and a half that you've been working on the recoring?
No, only a year. We started the recoring last year. Remember we went down to Massachusetts because we couldn't get any here?
Oh yeah.
So that was
it's only been a year.
Just over a year ago we started recoring the deck. Just seems like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, we found lots of interesting things, you know, along the way, because when we started recoring, we'd never done it before. We had no idea what we were doing, and
I don't know. We still have any idea what we're doing.
all right, but at least we found interesting things along the way in terms of where we thought the wet spots were and where we thought they weren't, and that didn't turn out to be, in a lot of cases, correct. So the moisture meter, definitely not 100% tool for this, for finding the wet spots, particularly on this boat. I don't know why, but the wet spots definitely don't correspond with the readings that we took, that Robin actually took all over the deck. You know, some places it's correct. Other places, you wouldn't have thought it was as wet as it has been. But I guess the long and the short of it is that once we're finished recoring the entire deck, we never have to worry about that again. I mean, the Coosa doesn't absorb water, so we said several times. And I actually left pieces of Coosa out in the weather over the winter, over last summer, over the spring, and they just sit outside in the snow, and you really couldn't tell they'd been out there. It's pretty, a piece of plywood, even marine grade, would have been not in great shape by this point. You can't see any kind of degradation in the core material. It looks just as good as the color changes a little bit, and they told us that the color will change if you leave it in the sun, but as far as anything else, it looks as good as the day it was dropped on the ground. Well, it would be nice to get that core finished and on to other projects like the bulwarks, which is our next major project. Because right now, without sealing up the deck to hull joint, we're going to end up with water coming in through that joint. So that's the next project. Once we've got that done, basically, then the boat is waterproof. Nothing's getting inside. So we certainly don't want to let the water get inside the boat where we've replaced all the knees and go back to where we started from. We want to make sure we've corrected the problem that caused the knees to be bad in the first place. So that will be the deck to hull joint. So that's our next project. Hopefully we'll start that next month. Kind of hoping that we can get this deck coring done in the next month, finish that up, and start working on the bulwarks. Do you have any input on that there, Robin?
No. I just want it to be over and done. It is a project that's absolutely doable, even if you have little to no skill. You just start small and slow, be methodical.
Well, I think that's the key as well. If you don't have any patience, you couldn't do this. There's no way. Like if you think you're going to do this in a weekend or a week or a month or even 6 months, not being realistic as far as how long this project's going to take. So for anybody out there thinking of taking on a boat project, just make sure you're aware of what you're getting into. You know, and also depends on what depth you're going into, how much repair you have to do. But if you're doing anything to this level, you better have a lot of patience.
Yeah, and I really don't. And it's even harder for me because I'm not here every day. Scott's working on the boat almost every day for at least a couple hours. And I just can't physically be here every day. So then I have, you know, I wish I could do more, and every time you work on the boat, it's always the same thing. God, I wish I would have thought I got more done. Why couldn't I get more done? And there's no such thing as a 20-minute project on a boat. So anybody that's ever thought that, just, oh, puppies, forget about it. There is no 20-minute projects. Be interesting to see if we're able to move that galley. You know, we've talked about that. You know, we're contemplating moving the galley over to the hallway area, and where the old nav station was, we're going to flip that over to the port side.
But the other thing Robin's contemplating is taking over some of the video work, some of the editing. So that'd be great if she could do that. That would really take some of the time off, you know, me doing the editing plus doing the work. So I think she'd be probably better at it than me as well. So I think she's thinking about getting a laptop capable of doing editing.
Yeah, I've got to give myself time to learn how to do it. You know, Scott unfortunately has had lots of practice with it. And
I don't think it really takes that much time. I mean, I think, and I can kind of walk you through what I know, which I'm sure isn't that much compared to many others. And the other thing is, like, as much as we're putting the videos out, we're trying to learn about YouTube and trying to learn how to get some more subscribers. We'd love to get more guys, more people on board with our YouTube channel. It's encouraging when we see people subscribe. It actually gives us a little bit of a boost. It's a nice thing. Like the other day, we had 3 more subscribers.
We're almost at 200, guys.
It'd be nice to, you know, get to the 300 mark. That seems to be some kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just in my mind, but it seems to be like a magic marker where things start to increase as far as getting more subscribers. But it's not even, you know, that we want to have a YouTube channel with Patreon or anything like that. It just feels like we're you know, we're doing something where somebody else is you know, enjoying what they're watching, and we want to do that. And the other interesting part of this is, and I do this every once in a while, I go back to some of the videos that I originally shot, which as far as the video quality wasn't that great, but it from my perspective, it just shows me what we've done in the past. You know, you kind of forget, as much as you know what's how the project's gone, you sort of forget all the details of what went on along the path. So it's kind of neat from our perspective too, to be able to go back and see what we've done in the past, and actually how much we've learned. The good news is the beginning of next month, the beginning of July, we're both off for a week, and we're going to be here working on the boat and doing some other stuff. So we're going to try and mix it up a little bit so we're not working on the boat all the time, but certainly that'll be a part of it.
Yeah, we haven't really taken a vacation since pre-COVID.
Well, we have planned for going back to the Annapolis boat show for the 3rd time, and
maybe we'll actually do some video work while we're there.
Yeah, we always talk about it, but it never really seems to happen. I have to admit, I'm a little uncomfortable videoing with a lot of people around. You know, doing it with me and the camera, that's fine, but I do feel a little self-conscious doing it with other people around. But I guess we just got to get over that and just be part of our normal boat show thing. But we're going to be there for the Saturday and Sunday, and unfortunately I didn't realize this when I booked the Airbnb, that Monday there is no show, so I guess we're going to do some other stuff following the show, which could be good. We never really We walked around town a little bit last time, but I would like to see some other stuff too. I'd like to go to the Smithsonian. I've never been. Driven by Washington a number of times, and I always talked about it. But I would like to see the Air and Space Museum. So, just one of the things I'd like to do. And I think Robin wants to go up and see her uncle. He lives in Oriental, North Carolina. So it'd be nice to take a little ride up there. Apparently, that's quite the spot for cruisers to stop in, up and down the intercoastal. So it'd be interesting to see, you know, what that looks like before we actually make the trip ourselves. And it'll be October, so I think it should be fairly warm in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so. It's a nice day here, though. We're at, actually, yesterday was brutal. Yesterday it was in the 30s Celsius, so we're talking like up to 90-ish, I'm thinking, somewhere around there. Robin asked me what the temperature is in Fahrenheit. I don't really translate one to the other. I just know what it feels hot or it feels warm or feel, you know, I don't translate between Fahrenheit and Celsius. And she's not that familiar with Celsius as far as, like, you know, what the weather feels like. So anyway, this is our trip to the boat. It takes us about half an hour to get, well, half an hour, 20 minutes, about 20 minutes to get to the boat from my place. So
Free boat. What's the catch? Trailer.
Somebody's trying to get rid of their boat because it's caused them somewhere to store it.
Yeah.
Probably bought it during COVID. A lot of people bought boats during COVID, not really realizing what they were getting into in terms of the cost of storing and, you know, cost of fuel, and the boat's only probably about 50% of the investment they're having to put out, for anybody that doesn't know, because, you know, you're having the fuel, especially with a powerboat, the fuel, the storage, if you can't do anything yourself, the winterizing, the mechanical, and if it's an older boat, you know, and you're not prepared for doing any of that mechanical work yourself, I think it'd be downright silly. But I think people during COVID were just anxious to do something outside, so boats were selling like crazy.
Speaking of mechanical stuff, I still think I want to take a marine diesel class, because I don't know anything about diesel whatsoever, and learn how to work on that motor. Because, you know, if you're going to have it and you want to be a cruiser, you got to be self-sufficient. And I'd like to know, you know, at least the basics. I mean, it's really all basic once you know the mechanics of it.
I think we learn in different ways, right? Like, I can learn by just taking something and reading a book and looking at what I've got and figuring it out for myself. Robin's a little different. She needs to take a course and get some, it's just part of different learning
Styles,
yeah.
most definitely. You know, as a nurse, I read the material, I sat in the classroom, then I went to the lab and I practiced and practiced and practiced. I feel comfortable that way.
Me, I just figure things out by myself, and that's the way I've always done. I mean,
yeah, but this is a motor we're talking about. It's not a cheap thing, and it works. Not well at the moment, but it works, and I don't want to make it worse.
We hope it works. It started up when I was there, you know, at the marina, getting the boat out of the water for
a couple years
the first time. But what I have found is I can get parts for it because it's a VW, like a Rabbit engine. So we can get parts for it. The only thing we cannot get is the heat exchanger. So, you know, I think the heat exchanger looks in good shape, but we don't know what it looks like on the inside, and that's, you know, that's a huge question. But it's only been in fresh water, so I honestly think it'll be okay. So we'll see how that looks, and what parts we can get for that heat exchanger, if we can get a new core for the heat exchanger, if we actually need one, or anyway, that's further down the road.
But when we go to the boat show, we do look at the betas, you know, and they're not cheap.
Well, the nice one would be the hybrid beta. So, you know, if for some reason the engine didn't start, you could use the electric function of that. Or, you know, you might decide that you want to use the electric at certain points because it's quieter. It gives you options, which would be nice to have. It's nice not to be dependent on one particular source of power. I know we got sail, but that's not always a possibility. Alright guys, we're here. Welcome aboard.